Welcome back to Orwell. We are getting to the end of this day. We did a lot of talking, or I did a lot of talking in the last episode about my speculative understanding of how everybody's connected here. There's a lot of aliases and a lot of hidden relationships, I think. But our primary lead right now, we've got like these are what the game is telling us are important, even though these are not, to me, the most interesting narratives going on. So we need to do this. I mean, we've already figured out the answer to this is yes, right? Like we know Nina is a discharged army veteran who's not supposed to be getting counseling. So let's read this over again more carefully. Dishonorable discharged after being absent without official leave. Extreme mood swings. Right, lots of PTSD symptoms, things like that. What's the conflict? The conflict is here? Misusing illegal session. Why are these in conflict? Aren't these the same thing? The being extremely uncooperative during session is not showing up at all. She has been receiving very good reviews from employers via a cooperation partner Work Easy, where she already took jobs before the treatment. Considered successfully integrated in an everyday work environment since her ongoing health issues have not improved so far, though. Ms. Madanova is being signed up for mandatory weekly counseling. And again, this gets to what I was talking about in the previous episode. I don't know whether this is an internal document for Karen's eyes only, or if this is a document for the wider Rehabilitation Council. Because if this has visibility to the rest of the Rehabilitation Council, and well, then there are multiple problems with it. Because it says mandatory weekly counseling, it says patient is active. But Karen herself says, wait a minute. Is the counseling official? But she's saying it's unofficial so that she can also have her affair with Ilya. I mean, that's insane behavior. Before we commit either of those pieces of information, I want to find out more about Nina. I got the initial impression that if somebody was dishonorably discharged, they were not allowed. I don't really know why that would be, but they were not allowed to be treated. But this says, well, on her website, when Nina messaged her under the alias Molly, Karen said she would do it pro bono. Where is it? Messages, Molly. With counseling, you can be treated. How about I offer some private sessions free of charge? In exchange, I would like to publish your story. So again, this gets to me not liking how Karen conducts herself. because this is very, it's very manipulative. It's a manipulative way to look at the story, because this is looking more and more like, rather than be her wanting to increase her outreach for patients in need of counseling who might not be able to get a traditional way, she's instead using that as a front to basically put up a series of political propaganda pieces. Whether or not she even realizes that's what she's doing is kind of a different question. Specifically this part here about how I'd like to focus on your remarks about the safety bill because political criticism is sure to fuel some discussions. That's extremely telling about what her priorities are. She didn't even need to really include that piece of information, but she did, which I'm taking to mean that the developers think that's an important thing to include in the game. No photos. Promise to keep you out of everything I write here. Let me double check here. I don't think there's anything explicitly telling here. So let's get more information, everything we can, before we make any further decisions. So this isn't gonna work because she's not an agent, she's military. How did we get here? I guess I can't look her up in how did we even find Oleg's page before? It was not through a search? This is for the political wing. And I can't look... I thought we had a search for the medical database before. How did we get to this page before? Maybe we... I don't know if I imagined that that was there or they explicitly took it out so we couldn't look up Nina because she should have a record. So let me double check here. I don't think we have anywhere else to put her name in. I guess not. Really feel like having other records should be very within our means. But we're not gonna do that. So what do we have to work with? Just the conversation between the two and... we don't have confirmation either way on this. As I was saying at the end of the last episode, both of these could be true. It's unclear from the documentation. Karen herself, who may be an unreliable narrator, especially if she's got an external motivation like an affair she wants to keep hidden, says that she's misusing Ilya's session in order to counsel for Nina. But this document seems to suggest that she's being counseled perfectly fine. Which would check out if Karen's motivations are what I think they are. She's counseling her in exchange for being able to use her story. And so doing it pro bono is in her interests, just to, legitimize it and not steal the story out from under her. But those these articles don't have dates on them either, right? Nope. Again, that would be very pertinent information to have. The ultimate problem that I haven't said out loud, which I should say, is that I think this is the truth. Because there would be no, if this is for Karen's eyes only, she would have no reason to lie. Right? She would have no reason to write this all up in the first place, really at all. These details are for record keeping, right? So on it, except for the off chance where she thinks it's for her, she knows they're supposed to be for her eyes only, but she's suspicious and think they'll be read by others anyway. I mean, that wouldn't cover her anyway. So I think this is a document that she expects other people to see, and therefore it should probably be true, because if it isn't, she loses her job and gets in a lot of trouble, possibly getting arrested herself, if I understand how this is supposed to work. So I think the idea of her counseling illegally is a cover. The problem is, if I put that in, we don't have leverage. And if my intention here is to stop that article from being published, then I need to have the leverage by, giving Raban his suspicions about Ilya or whatever, or no, not suspicions about Ilya. I forgot that the quest is basically make what she's doing illegal, so that the nation can arrest her and it can agitate Raban. I have no hard facts. That's the problem. I have all unreliable, subjective narrators who all have various potential or real motivations to lie. Provide exploitable data on illegal or questionable actions on Ilya or Karen before Raban Vart can release his provocative article. What happens if I don't? I would say we didn't actually verify his alibi. We gave a bunch of cursory evidence suggesting that that's true, but we don't know who that person is on the dating site still, even though I think it's Karen. So checking this off and absolving him. I mean, I guess we absolved him of stealing from work. We still don't know who did that. That could be Ellison. But I don't think it really matters. We don't really care about that part. So I have to make a decision based on completely inadequate information about the guilt or innocence of Karen. I don't know why it's illegal in the first place to counsel somebody. Karen says it's because it's that she'll do it pro bono. She doesn't say off. She never. The only person she's ever said, I think, that it's not legal to is Raban. Because this is the wrong one. Hold on. No, it isn't. So we know from the documentation in Karen's notes that the mine that went off killed her boyfriend and injured her. That's not included here. I am qualified. I don't see anything that suggests... Hold on. One last check. So the safety bill is the piece of legislation that's the problem, right? I wish I could remember the first piece of info we got, because I think that's where we initially got the impression that she should not be getting treatment. Was there another... This is also suspicious. This, again, is a suspicious interaction towards Ilya and Karen being potentially, you know, cucking Raban. read this over again. Leave us out of your plans. Here was the warning about the weakness, which we're now trying to exploit. Yeah, suspicious. This was this morning, right? Yeah. Sorry if I'm not super... Like, I go from very chatty to very not chatty because I'm trying to read over these and verify information and make an informed decision. But there's just a mess of info here. Let me read this directly from if I read this directly from here to the dating site, does it line up? I don't know if the dating site has dates on it. Going from... So the smiley, this tone suggests they're already deep in it. No innuendo intended. They're already in trouble. So... with Mary. No date. Magical evening at the other week at the hotel. Oh, yeah, this is also damning because using real... He never says Karen, but she says Ilya. Right? And there's no reason... Well, I don't know. Still not 100% damning, but it's awfully convenient. Thursday. Lovely evening and the amazing night. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what else that could be. So does that set me on the right track? No, not really. I don't have enough information. I think Karen is lying to Raban. And I think she has, I mean, ample reason, if not fair. If not fair or good, she has motive to be lying. If her motive is, hey, I did in fact spend the entire night with your fucking brother, then pretending it was the reason for, the reason was that you were actually counseling somebody else. I mean, either way, she's lying. Right? Because surely she didn't counsel Nina on that night, and then also try and counsel her the next morning. It has to be untrue. What else could it be? We're dropping this in. What? Pro bono? Is Karen the goddamn Salvation Army? Well, I mean, that's... If it's not actually illegal... That's just brilliant, brilliant. So it's an official job after all. It means we have lost scent as far as Karen is concerned. Well, we never really had... You just told me to go sniffing for illegal actions, but we really don't have it. We never had a lead. We investigated Ilya before to no avail. So what are we going to do now? We're running out of options. I don't know what you want. Oh, is this the damning? Is this going to be the damning thing? answers all my questions.
Karen,
Hey,
why are you calling me? Like, I thought we agreed that...
something has come up.
What do you mean, come up?
Raban just texted me about yesterday.
Shit. That's just brilliant. So he knows.
No, I don't think so. There is no way he knows that I'm Mary P. He was just
Oh,
talking
well,
about
that's
us
pretty
having a session
damning.
yesterday.
A session? How? Where did that idea come from?
I really have no idea. But don't worry, I talked him out of jumping to any conclusions. For now, at least.
If Raban finds out, you have no idea what he's going to do. What he is capable of.
You're forgetting I'm married to him.
Why don't you leave with me then? I've already put some money aside and...
Please, we've talked this through. I can't just get up and leave. I just can't.
You're right. So, what do we do now?
Nothing.
You're both idiots.
Sit tight. We
All three
probably
of you.
shouldn't see each other for a while to avoid suspicion.
I understand.
Good. I've got to go now. I'll touch base later. Bye, Ilya.
Goodbye, Karen.
So I talked previously about how much I hate cheaters. How foul I think people who cheat on their significant others are. Here's kind of the complicated part. This is very morally dubious on a lot of fronts. Because as much as I hate cheaters and think they should be exposed and shamed for doing what they do, and nobody should trust them to be in relationships again, what we're almost assuredly going to do here, and what it's funny because I don't know. I'm actually curious, like, I don't know if anybody who's watching this has played the game before. How quickly did I pick up on something that they were hiding? Because like I was saying, I picked up very early on the awkwardness between Karen and Ilya that suggested to me that something was wrong, and suggested that infidelity was a possibility. I think on the first day, not even the second day. So I had my suspicions the entire time. We are, of course, 100% verified now. But the problem here is, from a writing perspective, I'm annoyed at the game. Because this entire day has been Ampleford, our handler, telling us to find dirt on Karen or Ilya, all of which I figured out fairly early on was almost assuredly not real dirt, right? Ilya from from very early, I had already assessed, oh, he got money off of, he's swapping ships with his friend and it's a little sketchy but not illegal, and he didn't steal anything and he got the money from the card game. Took way too long to get that information into the system. And then Karen, obviously I've been debating back and forth, but mostly that's because of a lack of organization and a lack of adequate information. Stuff being explicitly denied from my view because it's deliberately burying the lead on the fact that these two are having an affair. Because the whole point of this entire day is you try and get one of them for illegal acts, then you try and get the other one for illegal acts, and then it turns out that both of those failed because the entire point of the day is to find out at the end whether you realized whether you worked it out beforehand or not. I assume this is a forced call that they are in fact having an affair, and therefore you use this piece of information to tell Orwell that they are having an affair so that they can give that info to Raban and blow the whole thing up. This has to be the only way this plays out, right? Like, there was so little evidence for anything else. This was all forced. I don't know. This is the problem with writing a fairly linear narrative that has the illusion of choice with all of this erroneous information. You telling me that Karen was Ilya's date? Yes. I mean, I knew that back at like 10 a.m. This could turn out beautifully. Let's work our magic for a moment. There. It seems Raban... Well, let me read the thing that just popped up. Jesus. It seems Raban isn't sold on it yet, judging by what he wrote on Blabber. See for yourself if you like. We need some savory details, something he is unable to ignore. Do you think you can handle that? Ampleford, get the fuck out of my face. I'm trying to read. We've only got time for 3 more data chunk. If you're sitting on something valuable, you should hand it to me now. Hey, Ramon, I hear your brother loves to meet your wife alone. Thoughts? Back off, not interested in your wild fantasies. Why are we back on this? The draft didn't change, did it? Why does it keep pointing me at this page? Is it just every time she warns me about the time that it happens? Okay, so what info does it want me to feed the system to prove this? I don't think this conversation has changed, but maybe it has. So this wasn't highlighted before. Again, what I've been saying about how they bury the leads and don't highlight information that will be relevant until they decide it's relevant, even though it's clear to me ages before. I mean, I don't know why this random message will function as proof, but... Also, I mean, for everything they've said, if I wanted to play devil's advocate, it doesn't say they ever slept together. In fact, it doesn't really say anything about them being romantic, I don't think. I mean, it is suspicious they're using a dating website, and that conversation they just had is pretty damning. At least in tone, not in content. But, again, playing devil's advocate for just a second, you could read this as, hey, I am very good friends with my husband's brother, but my husband is so crazy that if he found out we were friends and we hang out in our own social events without him, he'd flip his shit. Now, do I believe that? No. But from the most technical standpoint, if you really wanted to lawyer it, there's no proof of anything. Hotel, I like where this is going. Well, what else? What more do you need? Wait. Why is this relevant again? Oh. Oh. Well, it's good that this was highlighted. I guess we would have no reason to suspect it otherwise. Why is Ilya the one paying? Karen has a better job that pays her better, And she should know quite well that Ilya is financially struggling. I mean, not to tell cheaters how to cheat, but... I don't know, it does kind of make me wonder if I deliberately sabotage this day and don't give them this information, what happens? Getting closer? What more do you need? That's a fucking financial document. What do you want, the... There's nothing else in here, right? I'm not about to botch this somehow, am I? I only have one left. We already put this in. So it's not that. This isn't going to be it, even though it's suspicious. What else is there? The don't have kids thing isn't going to be relevant. This is not going to be relevant. I mean, maybe this was a different... Was this a different route? Was there a route where we could just bully Raban into stopping because he feels unsure of things? I'm really running low on ideas. What other... Wait. Surely you didn't. Oh, you fucking moron. I didn't even think to look at this because holy shit, how dumb do you have to be? You're literally going back and forth on multiple different platforms talking about how you can't talk here and there because if this was ever to come to light, it would be the end of everything. And then you take fucking pictures and post it on a social media. Who is this for? Like, this isn't even for your followers on your private account. Are you just treating this as a personal blog where you don't, where only it's only for you? Where nobody else gets to see it? I mean, I don't think there's going to be anything more damning than that, right? That's got to be it. Karen, you're a horrible person in just so many ways. And while I don't think the government is the good guy here, you're fucking awful. And stupid. Haha, this is brilliant. We wouldn't be able to make this up. Who needs something illegal when we have something far more provocative? Raban won't be able to ignore this. He won't be able to focus on his article after he receives this news. Okay, I completely disagree with you, Ampleford. There's absolutely zero reason why he wouldn't just let this article go to press as is. And if he was a smart journalist, he would, one, ignore any accusations of infidelity, even if they were 100% true. So even with your leverage, he would just go, yeah, but my article's still up and I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe the whole thing hinges on Raban being an unhinged man who clearly doesn't have his head screwed on quite right. Let's get it done. The picture's out there. The hashtag is picking up nicely. Shouldn't be too long before... Well... This is going to be unpleasant.
Hey!
Karen, is there anything you want to tell me?
No? Is there something on your mind?
Yes, there is, as a matter of fact. I've been sitting here stewing, wondering how my loving wife could have done this.
Could have done what? Raban, what's wrong?
Karen, are you sleeping with Ilya?
What? Are you crazy?
Even when you're caught red-handed, you choose to lie to me, which shows me exactly what you think of me. A fool.
Raban, honey, I can...
Don't you dare call me honey. How could you do that to me? Both of you. You are not my wife anymore.
That suits me fine. Typical Raban. Flies off the handle and won't even listen to my side of the story. You've been so cold. Obsessed with your hatred of the nation. For so long now. You've changed. You're always scheming, making plans, writing this hateful stuff. You scare me, Raban.
Oh, and instead of talking to me about it, you decide to get into bed with my brother, of all people. For God's sake, Karen, you're a caseworker. Talking about emotional problems is your specialty.
You wouldn't have listened to me anyway. It's always you first. Everyone else around you comes second. I guess Ilya just made me feel needed. Truly wanted.
You supplied my enemies with the ammunition they have been waiting for. Because of what? A glimpse of lust?
So he doesn't even care about the
needed you.
marriage. He cares about the leverage against him.
You don't need anyone. Only yourself. I'll be home soon to get my stuff.
No, Karen. I'm not letting this end so easily.
Raban calling his wife, I bet I know what that was about, and I wish I could have listened in on it. I'm kind of confused, because I've gotten the impression previously that she can listen in when we listen on these things, even though narratively they say she doesn't. You've performed well today. You should be proud. We have likely averted a bigger diplomatic crisis simply by publishing some personal pictures. Those delicate pictures will spark a discussion big enough to divert Raban from whatever he was about to publish. The People's Voice has a new announcement. We should tune in as soon as possible. Okay, before we do that, because I don't think we're going to get to look at the conversation that was just had. Just as a side note, both Raban and Karen are horrible people. Yes, Karen has legitimate complaints against Raban for being just not a nice person who's constantly obsessed with his work, neglects his, it neglects everything else, including her. And she has a legitimate concern for why she's not happy. And also why she doesn't think she can talk to him, because he's made it quite evident in the brief time that we've been listening to them that he does not listen to her or anyone. On the other hand, Raban has a very obvious, reasonable point of, hey Karen, don't sleep with other people, especially not my fucking brother. That's wild behavior. You basically, Karen, you could not have picked a worse person to sleep with for a worse reason or done dumber things to lay a breadcrumb trail behind you for somebody else to find. Wild behavior. And I don't know what Raban intends to do next, but clearly... Oh boy, I'm sure this will not break Raban. I am pretty sure this will only accelerate his rhetoric. I guess we'll listen to this. Is this...
My dear followers, it might come as a surprise to you, but you aren't the only ones who are listening to me. You are not the only ones watching me. The government has been after me for a long time, snooping and prying into my personal life in a feeble attempt to discredit me. That much I was aware of, and I treaded carefully day and night. But even I could not have anticipated the methods they would resolve to. You have probably seen the dirty pictures by now. They spread around the internet like a plague, showing my wife and my brother. Nothing about that is true. These are mere montages. It is a pitiful...
Bad defense.
It is a pitiful, meritless effort to antagonize me against my family, to ridicule me. But I will not shut the people's voice down. Neither now nor ever. I owe it to you, my supporters, to speak out loud what needs to be said. I won't allow anyone to intimidate me. No, I will not stop. I will fight back, and more furiously than ever before. I will go after them. I will pick their precious lies apart one by one and expose their misdeeds so they are plain to see for everyone. All of you shall be witnesses for the truth.
I am proud of you, Agent. You managed to do exactly what I asked from you, and in just the nick of time. There's no way there's going to be a provocation from Raban after this. Even if he did something, no one would be talking about it. You may log off for today. We will see what tomorrow brings, but I don't think Raban will do us any favors and simply go away. Yeah, me either. Here's the thing, though. Raban made a huge mistake there. I understand that he's emotionally distraught at the moment. And I understand for gameplay reasons he has to make an immediate statement, not do the smart thing and rest on the issue and then come back to it tomorrow. He also did promise his followers an announcement at this time, so I guess that's kind of a reason. But again, there's no reason he couldn't have published the article he wrote anyway, as bad as I think that article is. But his mistake was denying the reality, because he knows it's true. And if he had simply accepted it, anyone and anything else we would want to do to continue to discredit him in that line would be moot. If he had simply said, yes, the government has just told me that my wife has used its evil intelligence machine to find out that my brother was sleeping with my wife. I am furious, but I am still resolved, in spite of my personal issues, to be the voice of truth. And this only redoubles my resolve because it is the very machine that I rail against that has tried to discredit me and has brought me the information itself, that you know, to prove the reality. Nobody else could have dug up this information on my family members except for the evil government. That would have been the rhetoric he should have used, because it redoubles his ability to say what I'm saying is true. Huge mistake. I imagine there's a good reason why it didn't go that way, but I mean, it's also pretty damning that it's this same Tyler Durden account that's always leaking information. Like, I know it's Twitter, so it's not like Raban can ask the government Twitter to be taken down, because I'm sure the government runs this site that runs the Twitter blabber. But it is like, what an opportunity for him as well to be like, hey guys, do you see this account that has posted about my personal issues a bunch of times today and has been the source for all of these things? Perhaps it is a government agent. Hello. Seems like a very damning thing he could identify if he wanted to. All right. Unprocessed data chunks will expire. Well, do I want to throw any of the rest of this in? Was there anything else pressing? I don't think so. No, let's actually throw some of these in. I don't know if they'll be relevant or not. Let's do these in order so that I don't have to keep switching between profiles. Where's the stuff from Raban? I actually don't know if there might be a, is there an achievement for uploading everything? I don't even know. I don't have this on, I have this on, what is this, through Amazon or something? So it's not on Steam anyway. All right, let's switch over to Karen. I mean, we already know all these things. You don't have children. Let's, oh, that was actually relevant information in some way. Explosive device found at the Circle Mall. This was again from the prior game, right? I think that was an event from the prior game. And she's got a lot of pictures for us to upload because she's not too bright. Did not think about how that could identify her, the places she's been, the people she's been with, and the unscrupulous behavior that she's been up to. Pretty dumb, Karen. It's genuinely baffling that for all of her concern and Ilya's concern over getting caught, that she said as much at all. If you don't want somebody to know, if you don't want anybody to know something about you, don't say it ever, anywhere. Like, don't say it on a website, whether it's public or private. Don't say it to people around you, work people, friends, family, personal relationships, whatever. Don't say it. If you don't want those things to be out there, you have to like consider who can do what with that information. I'm not saying you should be paranoid about things all the time, but like that is always the gamble that you take when you release information to anyone or any platform in any reason. Like, there's always the ability for somebody with current access to spread it to other people. Everybody you trust is a potential vector. Like, not to be too cynical, but everybody who sees that is a potential vector for it to be spread to more people. That is the nature of the social contract and the trust that we put in each other as human beings, is that there are some things you don't want everybody to know, and you trust that the people around you will not share those things. And it really only takes one wrong move for those things to get out there, let alone a fucking surveillance state. I'm really at this point only putting this in here, not because I think any of it is relevant, but because on the very small off chance that one of these points comes up tomorrow, I don't want to have accidentally shot myself in the foot by not including it and having to take either not having access to that data at all or having to take additional 10-minute chunks to load it in. So we're almost done. I forgot about Karen's timeline. Okay, is that the last piece of data? Oh, we've got, oh, this is that's for her. We'll put this one in. Okay, everything else is for her. It was pretty suspicious to have a picture of your brother's wife in a folder called Stuff when she's wearing a low-cut bathing suit on your personal computer. At the very least, looks a little funny. How far apart are they in age? Never mind, I don't want to know. Okay, I think that's every piece of information. With the attention he gained, Raban tried to publish provocation aimed at the Pargesian President Kassart. We published a photo of Karen and Ilya's affair to distract from the provocation. We were able to stop Raban Vart from releasing the provocation against President Kassart. There's all this information about the three of them. It's very melodramatic, if we're honest. It's very soap opera. And after, it's a very different tone than the first day as well, which is kind of the funniest part. Anyway, we'll come back and deal with whatever day 3 brings next time.